Welcome to
The
another
Mr. Movies Podcast.
enthralling episode of the Mr. Movies Podcast.
We're doing March.
We are in March.
We're making our way back to the present.
March marked the 1 year anniversary of the big Rona.
Oh my God, it did. Wow.
That was the last time I saw you.
Yeah, March.
I walked down the hallways of your apartment that looked like the Titanic.
All right, well, don't bring my apartment into this. Oh my God,
we walked our separate ways and we've become stronger men.
If you say so. But I'm not here to talk about men. I'm here to talk about movies.
Yeah.
So you know what, Frank? Why don't you kick us off with the first movie you saw in March 2021?
Well, March was a big month exciting month for me. I know it's on your list too and already talked about it, but this was the month that Zack Snyder's Justice League came out.
Yeah, big event for you.
I celebrated by I watched the theatrical cut because I hate myself.
Okay.
And here on the Mr. Movies Podcast, I'm a conflicted man because I don't like to bash movies because I would like a job in the film industry one day. And you know what?
Right.
Making fun of people and calling them talentless probably isn't the best way to go about that. So I like to be nice. But Joss Whedon, really, he didn't even try, you know?
Yeah, he fumbled it.
He really did. He really did. And
I mean, what more can you say?
What more can I say? Zack Snyder is a superior director, clearly, when it comes to this movie. I definitely had a vision for it. He wasn't trying to, and what I liked about it is that he didn't treat the characters like they were IP. He treated them like they were people.
I guess that is pretty important at the end of the day.
Basically, if you want a more in-depth thoughts on this, check out our 40-minute review on it.
Oh yeah, we've talked about this one.
We talked about it. It's a fun time. We also talked about it when it was announced. If you want to go back and watch that one.
We've talked about this so much.
We have. It was a road, but it was the road we traveled on. We made it. Now it's time to hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
My God.
Duncan, what did you watch this month?
I watched a little movie called Rams. Have you heard of this movie?
I have not.
It is a New Zealand movie about sheep herders who hate each other, and it goddamn sucked. I couldn't get into it.
Did you have to watch? Weren't you taking a New Zealand cinema class?
No,
that's not a thing.
I have never heard of that. No,
why were you watching Rams?
My grandpa made me watch it. Don't laugh at me. God damn it.
I think if we ever get to the point where we make Mr. Movies Podcast merch, we're just gonna have a shirt that says "My grandpa made me watch it."
No one would ever buy those.
I would wear that. That's so funny.
Okay, look, if this is your first video in, my grandparents financially helped me by chipping in for my college fund, and in return I have to watch movies every week for them. So there's a good chance that a good 50% of every movie I say on these podcast episodes were requested by my grandparents.
I'm happy that you talk about them though.
I mean, God, I technically watched movies that month, right? So
last month, I think Crocodile Dundee was our best segment on the episode.
That is my favorite. Yeah, that's pretty great.
I've re-listened to that 20 times.
Anyway, Rams is an interesting movie, I guess. But God, if the subject material is about sheep and evading the New Zealand tax laws about farming sheep, I can't get into it.
Is it a documentary?
No, it's got Sam Neill, the guy from Jurassic Park, in it. And no one else I recognize, but he's just oh, I can't do New Zealand, but he's just don't fucking take my sheep, and the government's I'm gonna take your sheep, and then he tries to.
Is he from New Zealand?
I'm pretty sure he is. But I don't know.
I watched another movie where he had a New Zealand accent, the Taika Waititi one.
Yeah, well, maybe he's just good at it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Can't comment on sheep that much. Or I mean rams. I forgot the name of the movie. All right, Frank, you go.
I watched I'm trying to think which one. I watched a documentary on Netflix. I
Hmm.
thought it was just so like it was a nice wholesome blast to the past that brought me back to the days of my youth.
Wow.
Um I watched a movie documentary called The Last Blockbuster, which is about the
Oh,
last blockbuster. And
no
it's so
kidding.
cool like these people keep it up and running and like a lot of people are still like really into it and like going to it. And it,
Mhm.
it made me miss did you ever partake in the because I feel like we were like little kids when it was a big thing, the video rental store. Did you ever take place in that?
I
Take
did. We had a store called Range City Video close to my house, and I think every Friday we'd go and rent a movie.
Oh wow. See, my parents, we never did the blockbuster thing because it was too mainstream for us.
Yeah.
But whenever we went grocery shopping and I was being an annoying little 4-year-old, my parents didn't want to deal with me. So
Uh-huh.
they'd our grocery store, Wegmans, had like a video rental store in it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I've seen
so
those.
they would just drop me off there and I just like grab all the movies and annoy all the people working as I do.
Sure.
And I have a vivid memory of being there one time when Spider-Man 2 came out on DVD. And I
Mm.
remember the lady working there was like, "You're a cute little boy." And she gave me a little Spider-Man 2 pin and I still have it.
Oh, that's cute actually. I like that.
The last blockbuster though, I got really invested into it because it's like the lady who works there, she's like known for it.
Hmm.
And she doesn't even own the business. She's just like the manager there.
And she just
And
refused to shut down.
yeah, it's basically like there's a threat that they might be shut down, but I think their contracts go to like 2024 now. Spoiler alert, sorry, I just gave away the whole movie, I guess. But um I want to visit the last blockbuster.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's a cultural site.
I still go to I go to the library to like rent movies like that now. Like I go every week. It's a
Oh, that's
religious
cool.
thing.
I can't rent movies anymore because Rain City Video, that place we went to, it got shut
Yeah.
down and turned into a kickboxing gym.
You could go and kickbox. It's the
Yeah,
same.
but it's not the same. I wouldn't walk away with a fun movie.
Um maybe you'd walk back with a fun memory.
Well, I like how you're being positive, but it's not
Um
helpful.
it's a nice little change of pace because usually I feel like I'm not positive.
Hmm.
No, actually, no, I feel like I'm usually pretty positive. Duncan, what did you watch?
I watched Godzilla versus Kong.
Duncan, I also watched Godzilla versus Kong.
Let's talk about it.
This
This
movie, so
movie,
yeah.
I mean, God, I'm very torn because I do not think it is a very good narrative.
Hmm.
I don't think any of the
But it gets
human
the job done
characters
at the same time.
it delivers on its promise,
So
right?
yes. So I'm just gonna be straightforward. I'm not a person who likes monster movies.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know. I like Pacific Rim and stuff. It's just not like my sort of thing. I
Sure.
need more. It's very like throw some popcorn in your face and just like turn your brain off, and that's not the movies that I like.
I
Um,
understand that. Yeah.
I'm not anything against that, God bless, but yeah, Godzilla versus Kong I thought was pretty wild. Hadn't watched any of the previous installments because I know
Mhm.
Millie Bobby Brown was in like the last Godzilla movie, but I didn't
She
watch it.
sure was.
So I had no emotional attachment to the characters really because this movie kind of just assumes you've seen the other ones. Which,
Right.
but you know what? I saw the monkey punch the lizard. You
Yeah.
know?
I think this is the kind of movie that gets better the larger the screen you watch it on is. Like
Yeah.
I do wish I could have seen this in theaters just because you're right. I'm not here to watch Millie Bobby Brown say, "Oh, there's 10 gigahertz coming from this lab station. Perhaps that's the reason Godzilla is angry." Like I don't
Mhm.
care. Like I'm here to watch these giant things bump around a city trying to kill each other. Like
Yeah. I
it's
like the
dumb
guy she
fun.
was with, the older guy that Millie Bobby Brown was. He was really funny in the
Yes,
movie.
he's in the show Atlanta. He's fantastic in that.
Okay.
But so I knew him from that. This role is, I don't know, all the human characters in these movies. Like every audience and review it goes like, boo, get rid of them. And like
Yeah,
they can't, because then you don't have a movie. But like, I don't know. I think monster movies really do need to rethink the human roles in those
that's
stories.
true.
But
That
I
is
guess
true.
I guess Godzilla versus Kong is my favorite of the monster movies because they gave Kong like a lot of personality.
I was gonna say his backstory was cool. I liked seeing him like forge the axe. I felt like it
Yeah.
was like his little Thor arc. I
Hmm.
liked it.
It was weird
Um
how they gave him sign language to say two words and then nothing else. Like it would have been
oh, that's
really
another thing. I like he
interesting.
could communicate, and I like the fight on the boat. I thought that
The
was
boat
cool.
fight
Like
was very interesting.
I thought that was a cool setting to put it.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously they're gonna
We've
fight in a
seen the big
city,
city, you know.
but like,
You show us a
what can they
boat.
do? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I like the direction these movies are going in. If they keep
yeah,
getting crazy and more inventive, then like I'm gonna keep watching them.
yeah. I like the way too that it ended with Godzilla and King Kong like making out. Godzilla was on the ground. Kong had the axe. He looked into his eyes, and it just all,
Yeah,
love is love, baby.
it's beautiful. Love wins.
Love wins. Godzilla versus Kong. Now, this movie though, wasn't it supposed to come out like 5 years ago or so? I feel like I've been hearing about this movie for like my whole
I
life.
think every movie that came out this year got delayed. Like it
That's
was
true.
delayed
No, but I
this.
feel like this one specifically, like I remember it being announced like 10 years ago or
Well,
something.
yeah, it was always the plan to reach this point. So I think like
Yeah.
maybe like 5 years ago, they were like, guess what we're gonna do? And then they just worked on it
So
for that long.
I don't follow like this whole universe. Is there more to come?
I mean, this movie made like a boatload of money. So yes, there's probably
Okay.
going to be like 10 more.
All righty. God bless.
Yeah, I mean, Godzilla bless.
Godzilla bless. So that was Godzilla versus Kong. Duncan, how many movies do you have left? I feel
One,
like this
two, three, four, five.
you go because I only have three left.
Oh my God. All right. I watched this. Okay, this movie was for school. So this is not, I mean, but I watched
Yeah,
The Three Burials of Melquiades Estradas.
that's a title.
Yeah, it's about this guy, and I mean, the title gives it away. He gets buried 3 times, and it's about this. It's a Tommy Lee Jones movie. Like he's in it, and apparently he directed it. But
Okay.
it's about this undocumented ranch hand who gets unjustly murdered by a border patrol agent who went rogue, and then he buries him. Then the other police find him, they give him a proper burial, and then his friend Tommy Lee Jones digs him up, kidnaps the border patrol agent, and makes them both cross the Mexican border in order to bury him in Mexico.
Oh wow.
And it's a very intense revenge story.
It sounds kind of light.
Yeah, right. It's a real family movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Bring the kids.
it's a very dark exploration in justice because like it's this person who like had a hard life and then he gets murdered and then buried 3 times, and it's just like
That sounds
give
like
the
a
guy
cool
a
movie
break.
though.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know if I strongly recommend it because like I'm
Hmm.
sure there are other movies that would make you feel good that I would recommend watching,
Yeah.
but I don't know. This one, it was good for my cinema class, I guess, as opposed to all the other things they could have made us watch.
Hmm.
So interesting stuff.
Go again.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I don't watch a whole lot of Japanese animated movies.
Hmm.
I don't watch anime. I don't watch the TV stuff. Um, Mostly because I just haven't really given it a fair shot. And this month I tried to change that. I
Okay.
looked the very popular ones, Studio Ghibli. I was like, hey, I'm gonna watch one of their movies. So I watched Ponyo. Have you heard
I've
of
heard good things
Ponyo?
about Ponyo.
I probably should not have started with Ponyo because it is one of their more younger audience oriented movies. Cause like
Hmm.
really nothing happens in this movie that's like very, very serious. But the whole thing is very atmospheric because like it's about water and ocean life. Because it's about this little fish who's like magic, and then when she goes on land, she turns into a girl. She meets this little boy. She tries to blend in. It's almost like ET actually. Now that I'm thinking
Uh-huh.
about it, but And then like the water levels start rising and all the like fish and stuff start swimming like in the city, and like it's very
Can
beautiful
all
to
the
look
fish
at.
turn into people if they hit the land?
No, it's just her.
Just her?
It's very it's I don't know. I don't follow the rules of the
The
universe,
lore,
the
the
lore.
deep lore.
But
Um,
I wouldn't watch this movie if you're expecting like a Lord of the Rings style epic fantasy narrative. It's
hmm.
really just a story about this little girl who wants to be loved by a human.
This
And
sounds
that's that.
adorable.
It's pretty
Don't we
cute.
all, aren't we all just little girls who want to be loved by a human at the end of the day?
I mean, that's one way to look at it. But yeah, it was very cute. I have to recommend this movie. Just maybe don't go into it expecting like explosions or like a
Can I go
crazy
into it
time.
expecting like the same like level of like Pixar, like that kind of storytelling?
Yeah, I would describe this as like a
Okay,
soft Pixar. Yeah.
okay, soft Pixar. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, I was gonna make a joke about you being a little girl turning into a fish and
All
like
right.
answering
Well,
questions,
that
but
would make
I
me
can't think
cry
of
on
anything.
camera. You don't want me to cry on the podcast, do you?
I do.
Oh.
That's why I agreed to even start this thing. Um,
Well, good to know. Why don't you take it away? What's something you watched?
I watched. He passed away recently, a few weeks ago, and not in March, like
Hmm.
now. But Richard Donner. I watched Superman the movie
Oh
for
wow.
the first time, and I
Hmm.
really enjoy like for a movie at the time, like a superhero movie. I wasn't expecting much because obviously the genre isn't what it is today. It was
That is
pretty
true.
good, and like they kind of went places. I don't think like I was shocked too. They did like with time travel and stuff. Like studios are afraid to do that now, you know?
Well, especially like I want to hear your thoughts on comparing the older Superman with the new Superman, because like the older one is very straight from the comics, like kind of cheery, jokeful, like
Very cheesy, this
saving
one.
cats out of trees. Like it's like very
Yeah.
wholesome and grounded, whereas the new one is very kind of like dark, grim, blowing up
Well, I
cities.
think we have like the best of both worlds when it comes to Superman right now because like I look at this Superman and then I look at Henry Cavill Superman and clearly very different. And I
Hmm.
think people like him for very different reasons.
Oh
But
yeah.
then I look at TV and like the show Superman and Lois and how like Tyler Hoechlin is kind of like I'd say the perfect combination between the two.
Oh cool.
Um,
Yeah.
and so it's just kind of cool to see that like evolution happen and go back and see it. I mean, I'm a huge Superman fanboy.
Hmm.
Um, I really like this movie, and I just think it's a cool little like time capsule piece. And it's cool to see how like filmmakers, like I know Patty Jenkins was inspired by it for Wonder Woman 84. And like I can definitely see that now, like the influence. Which I just think is so cool. And it's like it's cool to see filmmakers inspire other filmmakers.
I agree.
Um, and rest in peace, Richard Donner. We will miss you. Made some good movies.
Oh.
Um, that's my thoughts on Superman the movie.
Do you recommend it?
Yeah, I recommend it. I think it's a good one. It's
Hmm.
like don't expect it to set up the Superman cinematic universe,
No.
but it's a good one.
God, do you remember back when superhero movies didn't need to set up entire universes?
I oh gosh. Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah,
I feel
God.
like we still get some though every once in a while. Did I just go? Yeah, I did. So now
Hmm.
you have to go.
All right. Well, I continued my Studio Ghibli attempt by watching Howl's Moving Castle. Have you heard of this?
Never heard of it. There's
This
a lot of
is,
movies about castles in this Ghibli thing, isn't there?
yeah, yeah, they love those castles.
They love castles.
I gotta
You
say,
ever watch
this,
the show Castle with I almost said Richard Nixon, Nathan Fillion?
I've never seen Castle, no.
The main character's name is Richard Castle. For some reason, I
I,
was about to say Richard Nixon.
that would have been an interesting show.
That would have been.
Um,
I recommend Castle. It's a good
okay.
show. Don't watch the
Um,
last.
Howl's Moving Castle was a very, very interesting movie. It's about witches and like magic, and the main character is this little girl who gets transformed into an old woman, and she has to go like into the mountains to like get the attention of this wizard to heal her. But the wizard's just like, oh cool, a maid, and then like makes her like clean up his broom.
Mhm.
And so she makes friends with the other like magical species in the castle. She gets involved in the geopolitical war against like the kingdom and the wizards, and she's just like, I
Oh
want to
my
be a
God.
girl again. And it's very
So
much, yeah, go on.
yeah, when we were talking about the last Studio Ghibli movie you watched, how's it pronounced?
Ponyo.
Um, Ponyo. You kind of, I was like, why are you saying like it's not like Lord of the Rings? Because I was a little confused by that. So is this one more like that, and that's why you made that comparison?
Yes, this one is a
Okay.
lot more lore centric. There's like a species of monsters, there's like magical doors, there's like a lot more. It's a lot more than just a fish crawling onto the water, onto the land, and
Yeah.
being like, I want to be friends with a boy. This one is kind of like heavier because like they sneak her into this palace with other witches, and the queen's just like, I hate witches. And then like there's like a biplane fight where they're on like planes and shooting each other, and like I don't know, this one he like the howl turns into like a giant bird thing, and it's just like, I gotta get someone to fix this. And like it's just it this movie does not have like a point A, point B, point C narrative. It's very much it's going, and then the weirdest shit starts happening.
Yeah.
But it's always so fun to watch, and it's beautiful to look at. So I did not lose my attention or enjoyment at any point in this movie. It was legitimately very fun to watch, and I think out of all of the Studio Ghibli movies I have ever watched, I recommend Howl's Moving Castle probably the most. Just because
Okay.
it's like a warm hug. It's just like, hey, come watch this cool stuff. And I'm like, okay.
That's
And
nice.
it's very nice.
I like that. I like the Mr. Movies podcast where every movie is a warm hug.
That's not true. I talk about a lot of movies I don't love. Crocodile Dundee for one. Anyway.
I watched a documentary
Mhm.
on HBO.
Ooh.
And it's called Spielberg. Any guesses about who it's about?
Richard Nixon.
Yes, it is. It's the Richard Nixon documentary. No, well, just so the Mr. Movie podcast audience knows, when I was a young lad in the 4th grade,
Here we
I
go.
had to do do you know this story?
You've told me this story, yes.
Yeah, how many times have I told you this story?
Just tell it again.
How many times? No, why don't you tell the story actually?
No, I wouldn't rob
I
you.
want to hear you say it now.
They got to hear it from the horse's mouth.
No,
they got to hear the original.
I want to hear it from your mouth. No, I want to see how well you know.
Well, this is your ET story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it any? I don't know, like how detailed you want me to go, but basically, you just
go detailed. Go as detailed. I want you to go as detailed as possible. I just want to see how well
Frank soul bonded with the movie E.T. and watched it how many times?
Enough to where my VHS, I didn't have to watch the trailers because it wore out.
That's right. And then you had like a figure of E.T. that you kept around.
Animatronic. I have an animatronic.
You have an animatronic. You tell this story. I don't know it well.
No, I want you to go the book project. Remember the book project? That's where I was going with it.
Yes, you had to write like it was like a class assignment where you had to read a book, and you went to the library and you found this book like an autobiography by Spielberg.
I didn't find it, so I was being a jackass and messing around with my friends, and my teacher was like, "You're never gonna amount to anything. You don't get to pick your you don't get to pick your person you have to do the biography project on. Here you go." And then she threw a book about Steven Spielberg at me. I'll finish the story from now. You did good though. You did really good. I'm surprised. Well,
Thanks,
I need to
Dad.
stop telling the same stories over. That's what that tells me. So she hands me the book, and I read it. I got into Steven Spielberg. Bada bing, bada boom. I go to film school. I meet Duncan. And the Mr. Movies podcast is born. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. Without you, this would not be possible.
Oh my God. What an interesting way to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, really. Yeah, but this documentary is really cool because they interview like Steven Spielberg, all his like friends, his parents, and just talks about his life and his career and how he started. And the stories in it are just, it's so inspiring. It's incredible to watch. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I would recommend if you're into filmmaking, if you want to see like how how it all gets made.
Mhm.
It's just really cool.
Is he your hero?
He is my hero.
What would you say if you met Steven Spielberg? Let's say you finish the podcast, you hit stop record, you turn around and he's there in your room. What do you
I'd
say
say,
to the man?
Steven, how the hell did you get in here?
All right, no, okay, different
No.
scenario. You're in LA, you go to a red carpet premiere and you bump into the man. What do you say? You got 5 minutes.
5 minutes. That's a ton of time, actually.
Fine, 2 minutes.
Oh God. Here's the thing. I don't even know because, like, do I want to be one of those sappy fans who's like, "You changed my life"? Like, how many times does he get that? You know, like,
Probably
there's a
often.
thing where like the top two people who get thanked at the Oscars are God and Steven Spielberg, and like that's a true thing.
That's
a
funny.
true thing they did. That's the top two people who get thanked at the Oscars, and like, I don't want to be another one of those blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't know what I'd say. What do I have to say to him? You know? That's
Just
true.
say I love you, Steven.
I'd probably try to hug him.
Yeah. Do you think you
That
like
wouldn't
that?
end well.
Well, I think it's nice. I think you picked a good guy to be your inspiration.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of terrible people in Hollywood, and I think I picked a good one.
Let's hope.
Who's your hero?
Richard Nixon.
Oh boy,
I'm kidding.
That's a good one.
I mean, we had to mention him three times.
We can't. Yeah, we had to do 3 times.
We had to do the pattern.
So stop. No more. We can't mention him anymore.
Okay, the
It's
next
done.
person who mentions Richard Nixon, this whole thing gets shut down.
Yeah, it's done.
Wait, does that count? I just said his name.
Don't think about him anymore.
Okay.
He can't hurt us now. Is he dead? He's dead. He's
I don't think he's dead. Now he's all I can think about.
Can you look him up? Is he dead? Can you look up if he's dead?
All right. Welcome back to the Mr. Movies podcast segment where we ask, is this person dead? All right. Richard Nixon.
He's definitely dead.
Question mark. He's dead. He died in 1994.
Oh, guys, we're sorry to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, for any of you rooting for Richard Nixon's speedy recovery, I got bad news.
1994, I wasn't even alive yet. Okay.
Yeah, nobody told me.
I was gonna say he was an old dude.
He was old at the time, like he was in his prime. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
How many movies do you have left?
I got 2 left.
All right, why don't you go?
All right. So this was in the peak of quarantine. This was March. We had just hit a year. I was starting to get a case of the depressies. And I was like, you know what? I need something to cheer me up. So I paid Sony $4.99 and I rewatched Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I picked that is because I think this is, and I'm gonna catch some feedback for this, I think this is my favorite Spider-Man movie. And I can see you cringing, and I know a lot of people listening are also cringing, but I just want to say that this is the most grounded and believable setting for a Spider-Man movie to take place in.
I would say The Amazing Spider-Man is more
grounded.
The first one.
The one with the lizard.
Yeah.
You think that's more grounded? Explain that to me.
I think that's more grounded than the guy who dresses up like a bird and flies around the city stealing alien technology from an invasion.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is the high school setting, and
he's barely in the high school though.
No, he's very often in that high school. That's where like.
So the issue I have with this Spider-Man is that he's always going on trips and he's never in high school.
I went on trips all the time when I was in high school.
Well, I didn't. I went to Washington, D.C. in the 8th grade, and I never went anywhere else.
So
again.
did Spider-Man. Gotcha. You just
I didn't go to
destroyed your whole
Italy.
argument.
Oh my gosh.
Look, yeah, okay, he's being like shipped around quite a little
Look,
bit.
I will say, I think the MCU Spider-Man movies get unfairly hated on. But I don't think they're the best.
They're obviously they're not like the best movies ever.
I think
put to
Sam
film.
Raimi nailed it.
I think the Sam Raimi movies feel weird. I think they feel
No.
like someone
there's
took
so
a
much
Spider-Man
art.
comic and
There's
held
so
it
much
underwater for like 2 minutes so the pages got all runny. And then they're like, look
Why
at
are
this
you
Spider-Man.
like this? No. Dude, they're so good. Are you excited
so
to see
old.
the Spider-Man return this December?
Spoilers? What the hell, man?
Well, it's not confirmed, but it basically is. I feel like that whole movie got leaked, but that's okay. Are you okay? Is someone in your house? What happened?
I'm just kidding. Someone slammed a door somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how that movie's gonna, like
they said. Well, Alfred Maloya came out because I know Kevin Feige was upset and said that it takes place right after Spider-Man 2, like his character, but he's dead.
Well, I mean, they got Doctor Strange in it, so like obviously he's gonna portal in like a ton of the villains from different multiverses.
I feel like my biggest thing with Sony, and this is what tanked the Amazing Spider-Man movies, is they want to do the Sinister Six so badly
because it's their best
like,
property.
I know, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah. Part of me finds it hard to care.
Jamie Foxx is Electro. I'm like, I'd rather start from scratch.
Yeah. I think Marvel did a great job at starting from scratch. Why not give them that property and let them do that?
Yeah.
But
why not have Sam Raimi direct this movie? Why give him Doctor Strange? I think
they're trying to appeal to the fanboys.
I think he's going to do a hella good Doctor Strange. I think that movie's going to be incredible, especially if it's a horror movie, which is that's what they described it as when they announced it. I don't know if that's still the plan, but
it would be interesting.
I'm excited
to see that take on it. Yeah.
I have one movie. Are you done talking about Spider-Man?
I mean, I think we've talked about Spider-Man before, so
we actually have a whole video, I think, where we ranked all the Spider-Man movies.
That's true. Did we also have the Raimi argument in that one too?
I think we did. Yeah.
God, we just hit the same notes.
But as long as you know you're wrong, we'll be okay.
Wow, spoken like a true manipulator.
Thank you. I learned from
don't say
Richard
it.
Nixon.
No. Oh god damn it. That's 4 beats is nothing. We've ruined
I know, no,
joke.
it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. We killed it. We overused the joke.
Why don't you take us? What's your next movie?
The last movie I watched in March was an Oscar movie. Directed by Chloe Zhao. I watched Nomadland.
Ooh.
Have you seen Nomadland?
I'm a little offended. We talked about this last month.
We did?
Yeah, I talked about Nomadland, and you said I'm not attracted to the actress in it.
I didn't say that. I just said I didn't need to see her naked.
Oh,
we did talk about this. Okay, I forgot we talked about it. I saved my last movie. No. Oh God.
Well, okay. I did watch a movie that you saw earlier that you could talk about that.
Okay.
I watched Bad Education.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
As per your recommendation, I was like, let's try it out. And
it's pretty wild.
What an interesting movie. First of all, the main character's name is Frank, and that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. He's also Italian. A master manipulator. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, God, for those of you who don't know, this movie is about a school that's not so clean.
Well, so basically it's the principal and was she the vice principal, Allison Janney's character?
I think so. She was like the second in command.
They're basically like beloved by the community.
Right.
But what the community doesn't know is that they're taking the school's money to buy houses, go on trips, get plastic surgery, and just have a fun old time.
Yeah, they're using school funds for their own personal gain.
Dude,
and that's not good.
good though. The movie is so
The
good.
movie's
So,
fantastic.
the director made one of my favorite movies of my favorite movie of 2018, which was Thoroughbreds, which I know I've told you. It's like not streaming though. And the
Oh,
Blu-ray
bummer.
costs like $25.
I've
and
always
everything.
wanted to see that.
But I love that movie. Yeah, I thought this one was just like, I loved everything, the music, like the strings. I love it when Hugh Jackman, I don't want to spoil it, but at the end where
Oof.
consequences come for him and
Oh yeah. He's in
how he
that
chooses
driveway.
to avoid them.
Mm.
I just thought the movie was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. That journey they take you on is like,
It's wild. It's pretty wild. Part of you doesn't want Hugh Jackman to get caught.
well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
like any main character, you kind of like unintentionally, you kind of hope that they get away with it just because you spend that much time with them. Usually, not all the time.
And like the ending and his reasons for why he does it, like he really does care about the kids and like the school, which I thought was just such like a good idea to like paint it as, because really he did. He just thought he should be getting more because of it.
Right. It makes it a little more complicated because he's like,
yeah, but he did care about the kids.
Right. He puts his whole life into this school and then he's like, I deserve a little me time. And then it's like,
yeah,
that's how you end up in jail.
How the heck did they, because this is based off a true story.
Yeah.
How the heck did nobody catch that?
Well, I guess you just kind of hope that these systems are legit and taken care of.
The finance guy in the movie, the character there, he's basically like, I missed it, which probably is what happened in real life. But it's like, how bad are you at your job?
Well, don't make fun of the poor guy. He's gone through
10
enough.
years, dude. You had 10 years to catch that mistake.
Fine. Yeah. All right. That's a pretty glaring mistake. But he still tried his best.
He did. You know what? Give the man a raise. Just don't.
Well, I don't know about a raise.
Yeah. That's March.
That's March, baby.
Thank you for joining us. If you like what you've seen and you want to see more, please subscribe.
Yeah.
Like this video.
Like the video.
Please hit the bell notification.
Ring that bell.
Please.
Please.
It's the only way I feel like my life's worth anything.
Oh, that's not a good sign. What would Steven Spielberg say to that?
But
tattoo
yeah,
that's like WWSSD. What would Steven Spielberg do?
He would subscribe to the Mr. Movies podcast, though.
I think he would.
A lot of you have.
Yeah.
Because we're riding the coattails of Duncan's fame.
Oh, come on.
But we appreciate you for joining us.
Absolutely.
And we'll hope you join us for the April and July edition of the Mr. Movies podcast.
The Mr. Movies podcast, baby. Okay, on the count of 3, we say his name to end the podcast. Ready?
Okay.
One,
1,
two,
2,
3.
Richard Nixon.